NFL 23 on EA Sports.
And if it's in the game, it's in the game.
It's the Cleveland Browns and the Miami Dolphins.
And it comes your way next.
From beautiful South Florida, there's a look at Hard Rock Stadium in Miami. Today, we're set for a good AFC matchup between the Cleveland Browns and the Miami Dolphins. With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our two quarterbacks, certainly two of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you can get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has and how the game flows through him, if he's not on the top of his game, your team's not going to benefit at all.
Here's a punter, Thomas Morstead, to get this one started. And we are underway from Miami. And here's Jakeem Grant from his end zone. So here come the Browns for their first drive on offense. And leading them out there, we get a look at their 6'3" quarterback.
If you ask coaches at any level to design their ideal leader of a team, I think they're going to check every box with this guy. He's got the poise to handle responsibility. He stays calm under any kind of pressure, and he brings out the best of his teammates each and every week.
They start on the ground with Nick Chubb. And he's going to get 7 out of this before being taken down at the 27.
A nice run here early on. It doesn't take a great play caller to realize you want to establish a guy of his caliber with runs like this early because they'll pay dividends as the game progresses.
A good run, got 7 on first. Here's 2nd and 3. They run it again with Chubb. And this carry not as productive. He's swallowed up at the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain that time as it's going to leave him with a 3rd and about 3 to go.
As usual, the hallmark of a good run defense, linebackers making plays near the line of scrimmage. Absolutely nowhere to run there.
3rd play of this opening drive as they're looking at a 3rd and 3. Looking to throw. And he's caught on the sideline, but he's not going to have a first down. They say he was out of bounds, so a big call there. That brings up 4th.
That was their first 3rd down try of the game, and clearly something was off in the execution of that play. Good news, they've got a whole game left to clean that up and start clicking on those key 3rd down throws.
And Bojorquez on to punt as he gets it away. A 46-yard punt, 4-yard return. And it'll be Dolphin football. So out comes this offense to take over for the first time. And a look at a guy, definitely got a little razzle-dazzle to him. Can do it with his arm or his legs. Their mobile QB.
I tell you what, when he is on schedule for that week, secondaries take notice because you've got to stay alert back there on every snap. A truly powerful arm, one that's capable of challenging any level of the defense on any given play. That's why so many scouts preach arm talent when preparing for the NFL draft. A quarterback with arm strength to make every throw in the book, he's an asset to have in any offense.
They'll start on the ground here on first down. And he'll get this to the 32.
Give credit to the defense for stringing that play out, and they gave up no cutback angle. You know he was trying to dart through. No place for him to go. A nice job there, only giving up a 3-yard gain.
On second down now. It's Green. He'll take this up just shy of the 40. Excellent display of footwork on that run. A gain of 3 last play. This time they double it and pick up 6.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
It looks like a nickel set now for the Browns on third down. They'll keep it on the ground. Green. And he will have a first down here at about the 40.
Well, Carter, none of these runs individually have added up to a whole lot.
Now, 3 plays, all 3 short runs, but together a first down.
Yeah, it's amazing how the narrative changes when you string them together.
Gets it to Hill. It's a jet sweep. And he'll push this forward only to about the 42-yard line. And give the tackle to Anthony Walker.
Well, they gave up a few yards there, but all in all, I think it's a pretty nice job defensively against the jet sweep. If they don't slow him up, he might take it to the house. So they'll take that play every time on the defensive side of the ball.
Now they'll switch it up here and look to throw. Over the middle and complete to Waddle. And they're going to get this up to midfield.
I always laugh when people say, what's the toughest route to defend? Not like any of them, especially if it's a good receiver. That makes things very difficult. But when you're running a drag route, something short, shallow, going through defenders, using guys almost as screens in order to get open, that makes things tough for guys trying to get to the football.
They'll run on first down. It's Green. Oh, he's got some breathing room. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or 2 shy of the 30. 18 big yards on that one, and a Miami first. Well, that is a running back who was not about to go down easily. He fought his way through the contact until the seas opened up for him.
Yeah, this could be a sign of what this defense is in for, because, you know, all week long the coaches were preaching to the defense, you've got to be able to wrap up against a back like him, or he can make you pay. Technique, technique, technique.
And the next-gen stats shows us the tale of how much yardage he was able to pick up after the initial contact. From the 32 now, here's first and 10. Now a handoff up the middle. It's Green. And nothing much materializing there on the first down run. He'll get a couple, and that's it.
Certainly a nice job there by the defense rallying to the football and getting him on the ground. But I think the play gets made by the defensive front, because if they can't get upfield, their job is to go ahead and get low, almost get into a ball sometimes, stack things up, and make it difficult for the runner to find a hole.
Now this one complete on the slant route. And they're going to have another first down as he's going to be tackled at the Browns' 18. 11 yards for number 11.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route, and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
So from inside the 20, here's 1st and 10 at the 18. Up the middle they go. Green. And able to get him down, but he does reach the 5. 45 yards rushing for him on their opening drive of the contest, and it's now 1st and goal. You were telling me this yesterday. That's exactly what they want to do on the opening drive, establish the ground game.
Yeah, remember our conversation? We were talking about what one of the GMs in the league has told me repeatedly. It's a big man's game, and it's not necessarily size. He's talking about playing some big boy football. Line up, get leverage, knock people back, and establish the run early.
Here we go now on 1st and goal. Back to throw here. Buying time to his left. And he'll take this into the end zone for a Dolphins touchdown. A 5-yard touchdown run. And the Dolphins are on the board first here this afternoon. They've already been on record as saying, hey, if our rookie quarterback's going to tuck it and run on a scramble, we kind of hold our breath. Well, that was a maybe no, yes, as he's able to get into the end zone.
Are you saying he's got to learn where the line is about whether you keep your eyes downfield trying to find a receiver or you tuck it and go? And I think there's going to be some growing pains with that. I think in this case, he made the right decision.
And we know he's got the speed. He showed it there. Jason Sanders now for the extra point. And that makes it 7-0 Dolphins. A 10-play drive that time. And it's finished off with a 5-yard touchdown run. Morstead out now following the touchdown to kick. Fielded just outside the goal line. And he'll get it up across the 20 to the 21-yard line. Second drive coming up here for Cleveland as they return to the field on offense. And the last drive, their first drive, 3 and out. What changes here, if anything?
I think it's making sure the guys that you trust the most with the ball, the biggest playmakers you have, that they touch it on this possession to try and get things moving.
So get it to the horses.
Without a doubt. They're the ones that typically end up in the end zone.
They'll come out throwing here on first down. Eluding the pressure right. Nothing open downfield, so he'll throw it away.
Well, sometimes the defense just beats you. Great coverage from the secondary. All of them in the proper position. So instead of trying to throw into tight coverage, he found a way to throw it away and come back and try again the next down.
An incomplete pass on first down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. They'll look to throw. Toward the sideline, and that is a nice catch as he's able to tiptoe his way out of bounds. They'll get only 3 there, so it leaves him with a 3rd and 7 ahead. They should have gotten more out of that, though. He was wide open.
I love how emphatic you are with that call because that's exactly what I was thinking. Wide open in the flat. Give him a ball that he can use to get upfield with, not just catch and go over the sideline. They cost themselves some yardage there.
And he's caught on the sideline, but he's not going to have a first down. They say he was out of bounds, so a big call there that brings up 4th.
Every offense tells you they want to come out and start fast. That's not unusual at all. But this group, they've yet to get much rolling through their first 2 drives. It looks like they're going to have to give up the football again after this one.
On 4th down on is Corey Bojorquez to punt. Nice footwork at the 25. Call that 49 yards on the punt. They do get 7 back on the return. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. So Miami coming out for their second drive. This could end up being a pretty big drive. I mean, look, yes, it's early in this game, but they scored the touchdown. They got the stop. And now if they could get in the end zone here again, CD, they could grab an early stranglehold on this one.
Yeah, they certainly can, and that's what you're looking for. Where's the advantage? Can you gain it? Can you press it? Now for them, finishing it off, because right now it's out there for them. They've just got to go seize it.
And the Browns' pressure gets to him that time, and he's going to go down. In for the sack, Myles Garrett.
And this is what you've got to do against a quarterback like him. You've got to keep him in the pocket and not let him get to the perimeter, because once he gets outside, that's where he can really hurt you.
Let's go, fellas.
Coming up now on a 2nd and 15 following that sack. They're going to look to throw. That's caught by his big tight end, Mike Gesicki. It's a pickup of 12, and that'll set up a 3rd down.
And that was yardage that they needed there after the sack on 1st down. They didn't get all of it back, but now they look at 3rd down as a manageable situation, one that they have a much better chance of picking up.
And on 3rd down, the Browns going to go with a nickel set. That's complete. And it's a fumble. And this is picked up by the Browns. And this one will be returned to right around the 38-yard line. Obviously, you got to hold on to the football, but I've got to give credit to the defense there. Good job of knocking it free.
Yeah, because a lot of the time we just blame the offensive players for not taking care of it. How about the effort of the defensive players knowing that guys are going to, and if they're good, anticipate the contact coming and try and cover up the football. And they still find ways to knock it free.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. They'll go left side on the ground with Chubb. Officially, it's a 1-yard loss. That's going to bring up 2nd and 11. After 7-0 on EA Sports. The start of the 2nd quarter, and it's the Browns in control of the football. After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. 2nd and 11. Looking deep downfield. And that will be incomplete. Tried to dial up the long one way out there, but it'll be 3rd down.
As we've seen, their first 2 drives didn't yield anything points-wise. Certainly feels like they think to themselves, it's time to open this thing up, taking the big shot downfield.
An incomplete pass on that last play, and that means they'll need to come up with something here on 3rd down. They'll look to throw here. And he's caught on the sideline, but he's not going to have a 1st down. They say he was out of bounds, so a big call there that brings up 4th.
Oh, that's going to hurt a bit because they needed to come through with a completion there. Now a drive that started with great field position is facing 4th down.
So now they're going to send out the field goal unit to, as they say, fire away from long distance. And that's off the right upright, and it bounces away no good. And this will stay at a 7-point game.
And anytime you see a kicker trot out to try and work for 56 yards, you know everything's got to come off perfectly for it to have a chance. If the laces aren't quite right, if he doesn't hit the fat part of the ball just right, it's unlikely to go through, and that one winds up no good.
Well, look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. He's over 40 yards here in the 2nd quarter. Been nice and effective for them, hasn't he?
He has definitely been dependable, and really shouldn't underestimate what he's getting done here, because anytime you're on a pace that's going to approach 100 yards, you've really done some damage in an NFL game.
And now he's looking just to add to his totals. They'll try and start this drive in the air. Got his man complete over the middle. It's Hill. And he'll be tackled on the other side of midfield at the 46-yard line.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
And they go backwards here, losing yardage back at the 48-yard line. It'll go down as a 2-yard loss, and it brings up a 3rd down.
I like the idea to mix it up from time to time because, let's face it, you can't be predictable. But the execution was a little lacking on this one, right? They might want to go back to the drawing board with that call.
They'll need 5 on this play to move the sticks. He'll drop to throw. Got a man, it's Waddle, complete. Yeah, all the way in for a Miami touchdown. Jalen Waddle, 48 yards. And the Dolphins are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. So obviously they will decline the penalty there, and the result is 6 points.
The penalty is declined.
Sanders now to add the extra point. And it's good to make it 14-0. Scoring summary, 3-play drive. And it was finished off by a Jalen Waddle touchdown. Morstead out now following the touchdown to kick. Fielded just outside the goal line. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. Cleveland offense making their way out. They're still in search of an initial 1st down as they come up here 1st and 10. They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. That's into the hands of Donovan Peoples-Jones. So they'll get 8 out of that completion, and they'll be left with 2nd and a couple.
Nothing fancy on 1st down, but a very consistent type of a play. Hit that slant. A lot of people call it an extension of the running game, and it can be if that pass is completed, because you hit a guy on the run like that, you often can go for big yardage.
Sets him up nicely for 2nd down, staying ahead of schedule. Now this one to his tight end out on the right side. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. His first catch there, good for 10 yards and a 1st down.
When you're struggling on offense, you're looking for anything possible to get you going. Sometimes you do it like basketball teams that don't normally press. You put a press on, bring people to life, make them move a little bit quicker. Maybe that'll help them as they head towards the half.
Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on 1st down. They go up the middle with Chubb. And some pretty strong running there as he'll take this across the 50 and down to the 44. Back-to-back nice gains. That one for 14 yards and another 1st.
I'm okay with the call there. In fact, I actually like it. I know they're down a couple of scores, but the running game worked in that situation. I would continue to go in that direction.
This offense finding its legs now. Here's another 1st and 10. The play action fake. They'll look to throw. This is the tight end, Njoku. And he'll go out of bounds right around the 40.
Well, they're unable to convert that into much, but it's never a bad idea to try to get the ball into a tight end of his caliber's hands and see what kind of disruption he can cause.
6 yards left on 2nd down. They'll set up to throw. Over the middle, complete. It's Hunt. And they're going to work this down to about the 32-yard line.
Well, they've certainly done a nice job spreading the ball around on this drive. This time he gets it out to his back, and it's another nice play and another 1st down. They've got the defense on their heels a little bit. They're reacting instead of being aggressive and making plays.
From the 32 now, here's 1st and 10. He'll look to throw. He's got Njoku, his big tight end, and he'll be brought down at the 27.
Well, the strategy was evident there. Get it to your tight end and make it a one-on-one play with a cornerback. Who's usually going to win that one?
The tight end, but not there.
Not in this situation. How about the corner defeating that logic and making a really nice tackle?
From the gun, it's a give to Chubb. And only a yard this time as he's taken down right around the 26.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is a force of nature in the defensive tackle position. Yes, he's as big as they come, but still plenty agile. He's able to make a nice play there to swallow up the ball carrier.
They missed a field goal on their last drive. Here they need something to even get into field goal range on 3rd down. Over the middle and into the hands of his receiver, Moore. And he is going to have a Browns 1st down by about 3 yards or so as they wind up getting 7 there on 3rd and 4.
And Brandon, from our time in college football, where receivers weren't running the traditional NFL route tree, one thing they did learn, find open areas, find soft spots, and set up and catch the ball. And I think we just saw that there.
Yeah, we saw that indeed, picking up the 1st. So here's a 1st and 10 now, down inside the 20. Inside the red zone here, they'll look to throw. And he's going to go down. Back at the 27-yard line, he's sacked. Big Raekwon Davis, the man fighting in for that sack. Two minutes to play, 1st half. It's 14-0. So that complicates things a bit here. 18 yards to go now on 2nd down. Now back to throw. And this one taken in on the right sideline, but not in the field of play. They say it's incomplete. The throw led him a little too far. It brings up 3rd down.
My partner guaranteed they approach this play with the idea of making up ground to make 3rd down manageable. Unfortunately, with that incompletion, right back where they started on the last snap. Now they need a big 3rd down play in order to pick up the yardage needed.
Swings this out for Hunt. No gain at all on the play there, and that'll bring up 4th down.
Excuse my snarkiness here, but isn't the idea of completing a pass supposed to mean you get downfield and gain yards?
Especially on 3rd down.
Yeah, that one. How about the defense? Figured that one out in a big way. Yeah, they completed it all right and lost yardage.
Cade York on now for the field goal. This from 44 yards out, left hash. York able to send this one through. And they will get themselves on the board here at 14-3. So he missed his first attempt, remember, but this time he gets back on the bike and knocks it home.
Yeah, and sometimes that first one can really impact you moving forward. It can just stay with you too long and affect everything else you do during the game. In this case, though, able to shake it off. He's riding high again.
York ready, and here we go as he sends this one away. Taking it about the 1. Tyreek Hill set to return it. And he's up past the 20 to the 22-yard line. Out comes the Dolphin offense now as they get set to take over here. The offense running out, and they are charged up, ready to go after reaching the end zone on their last drive.
And normally I'd warn against getting complacent just because they scored the last time out. But I don't think there's any worries with this group right now. This is a hungry group, and they want to keep building off of their last drive. Now they just want the officials to hurry up and place the ball so they can snap it and get back to work.
Back to throw now on first down. That one thrown away from the pocket. The officials kind of looking at each other, but they'll say there was a receiver in the area, so no penalty, just an incomplete pass.
So many times we've seen him try to escape the pocket and do something with his legs, but in this case, the pressure was too intense and he made the wise choice to just get rid of the football and make sure no one was going to get it.
And 2nd and 10, he'll look to throw again. Out route to Hill, complete. 4 yards the gain, and it'll bring up a 3rd down. He'll look to throw. Over the middle here to Wilson. And he is going to have the Dolphins first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. Now a timeout called for by the offense as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. Back to throw again. And an incomplete pass. That'll stop the clock here with just under a minute to play in half number 1.
That certainly appeared to be a play call where they were just trying to make 2nd down, 2nd and short. I think they thought the coverage was off a little bit more than it was. Nice job there pressing up on it and forcing the incompletion.
They'll stick with the passing game as he looks to throw. And that is going to be incomplete as he led him a bit too much.
Feels like they're getting caught in between here because they had incompletions on 1st and 2nd down. Now you got to worry a little bit about the clock because you prefer not to give him another shot here in the first half. But if you don't pick up the 1st down, guess what? You're likely going to have to.
So back-to-back incompletions, and that has him staring at a 3rd and 10. Again, he'll drop to throw. Over the middle and complete to Waddle. And he is stopped just short on 3rd down. Got 9 yards, but needed 10.
But it looks like they got what they wanted. They got the completion, but they weren't able to break any tackles or gain nearly enough yardage to pick up the 1st down. Now to be 4th and short.
Here's Thomas Morstead on now to punt it away on 4th down. Back deep, Jakeem Grant. This is away, but boy, headed straight for the sidelines. And no return here. Where will they spot it? They say just outside the 20-yard line. The Browns drive about to get started. And with only 9 seconds remaining, with not much time, we'll see how they play this. And they'll indeed start on the ground to run that clock. And he'll just push his way forward for a few as the clock will run. So we have reached halftime here in an 11-point contest. As we go up to Orlando now and hand it over to Jonathan Coachman with our EA Sports Halftime Report. Take it away, Coach.
Okay, Brandon, thanks very much. And welcoming everyone to our downtown Orlando studios in this EA Sports Halftime Report. First things first, let's get a check on the next-gen stats from that first half for the Browns. And they will need to get this passing game in gear, because they did not do much of anything in that first half. And it's why the scoreline is what it is. Meanwhile, for the Dolphins, they had a little more success than their counterparts did in the passing game, as evidenced by the numbers there.
All right, Coach, thank you very much as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. The Dolphins in front, and they'll be in possession of the football first as the second half gets started. Taken at the goal line. And a decent return out to the 27-yard line. Out comes the Dolphins now. They'll go on offense first here in this third quarter. And, Charles, they've got the lead. Put your coaching hat on here now. What's the game plan for the second half?
I think getting the running game going a little bit more, because I thought in the first half they didn't get it moving the way that they would like. They had success throwing it, but I think these first couple of drives, they'll want to get those running backs going and give them more opportunities, and I will guarantee you that those guys were lobbying for them in the locker room at halftime.
They'll come out throwing here on first down. Open man is Hill. He's got it. And he gets this one just shy of the 40, down at the 39. 2 catches in the first half. Now he's got a third here, and it's good for a first.
And now we get into the psychology of the whole thing, because a lot of teams with a 2-score lead in the third quarter, they almost become defensive with their offense, just playing not to lose. I think with this team, you got to figure at this point, this is a great spot for them to go into attack mode, really try and put the hammer down and finish this one off.
So from the 39 now, they'll come up on a 1st and 10. They're going to look to throw. He'll get this to his tight end, Gesicki.
When you execute a drag or a crossing route really well and give them a chance to let it develop a little bit, you can gain some significant yardage hitting your tight end on that one.
A good gain on first, has him set up with second and just a couple of inches now from the 29. Now a handoff up the middle. It's Green, and he'll take it down shy of the 45 at the 46. A gain of 5, good enough for the first down.
Second and inches is oftentimes an invitation for an offense coordinator to take a big shot downfield because he feels like he can come back on third down and pick up the first down. But sometimes you just don't want to break tendency. Stay with what you are, stay with who you know, and go get the first down. That's exactly what they did.
Now an open man, that's the tight end Gesicki. It's complete. And they're going to get this down to about the 37. Well, that's always a good place to throw it just because he's one of the biggest targets not only on this team but in the National Football League.
And you and I both know the quarterbacks love these large-bodied tight ends, and why not? Nowadays, they're really wide receivers who are just taller and have a little bit more weight. These guys catch the football, make big plays downfield. In the old days, we wanted them to block. Now coaches want them to catch the football first.
4 yards the pickup, first down.
Caught that look from you there, partner. I think we're on the same page on that one. Just his first catch. I think we both thought he'd be a little more active in the passing game. Let's see if that's the start of them trying to get the ball to him a little bit more here in the second half.
On first down, Green, and only able to get 2 here, stopped at the 30.
Oh, that's a real nice job there by the defense in front. They just engaged and held their ground. But how about the guy who made the play? We often talk about whether they take a good first step or not. Many times you just don't take any step. Just get your feet moving, get your body going, and then once he made the read, he was able to make the play.
On second down, it's Green, and he's going to take this down close to a first down at the Browns' 24. 58 yards rushing for him now to this point.
Looks to me like maybe there's a little attrition setting in with this drive, because when you see that type of a run, I get the feeling the defense gets a little bit tired.
And that's the last thing they need, especially when they look up at the scoreboard. On third down, Green, and he will have the first before he's brought down right on the chalk of the 20. 4 yards on the pickup, good enough to extend the drive.
I know the game's changed. A lot of people would say it's evolved. Look, I'm a little bit Neanderthal, okay? I love this. No exotic formations, no misdirection. Just line up and run the darn ball, pick up the first down. I love it.
Yeah, third and short, that's what you're supposed to do. Like you said, old school, smash mouth football. They'll run on first down. It's Green, and he gets it inside the 10 to the 9. It's a good gain of 11, sets him up first and goal. Lots of plays on this drive, obviously. I know you're seeing what I'm seeing. Those guys up front, they're getting it done.
Doesn't matter what play is called. They are handling their business at the line of scrimmage and dominating right now on this drive.
On first down, Green, and he will take it in for a Dolphins touchdown. A 9-yard touchdown run. And the Dolphins take the opening kickoff of the third quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead. Some good running there at the end of the drive. He had the burst that set up the first and goal, and then one play later, he's in the end zone.
Man, what I liked about that sequence is I'm not sure who made the play call, but they understood the situation, understood the momentum. A nice hard-charging run, give it right back to him, and let him cap things off.
Extra point up and good by Sanders, and the lead is up to 18 now. Morstead out now following the touchdown to kick. Taken in at the 3. And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24. Here's the Browns now. They get set for their first possession of the third quarter. And their halftime hole now even deeper. And they need a big drive here just to answer the first touchdown of the second half scored against them.
They were down at the half. Now, as you mentioned, they're down a little bit bigger, but no time for discouragement. Just got to get back to it, right? Put your shoulder against the boulder and start pushing and try and get back to where you were to start the half.
A first carry now for Kareem Hunt. Bulldozes past him. Xavier Howard up to make the tackle.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here, and if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up the score.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. And the Dolphins rush gets home. Down he goes. Christian Wilkins in there to get him. It's a loss of 5. But the number one mission of any offensive line, you got to protect that quarterback, keep him safe back there. This time, the rush got to him in a hurry.
Yeah, that's one where you turn to your lineman and say, guys, can I get a little help here? And you have to ask politely because, remember, they're blocking for you the entire game. But as a quarterback, you've also got to have the clock running in your head when you need to get rid of the football. But this time, he had no chance. They were on him instantly.
On third down, he'll drop to throw. And that is, I think he caught it. He did, but they'll say out of bounds. It'll be incomplete.
Foul. Blocking the tackle. Defense.
Well, Charles, sometimes we talk about the lengths officials sometimes go to protect star quarterbacks, but that was tough to argue against.
Yeah, and I'm sure that everyone's going to say, hey, we're going to administer the penalty the same way for all quarterbacks. But when it's a star back there, even more so, they're going to be diligent about throwing the flag.
And they will only muster a yard here to the 38. That ground game contained again there, Charles, and that's really a big reason that they're trailing right now.
They give a lot of credit to that defensive front. That's exactly what they worked for all week, to try and take away the run game, make them one-dimensional. In the battle of game plans, theirs has been superior.
Second down, here's Chubb again. And this time they were waiting for him as he'll be knocked down before he can get back to the line of scrimmage. They wind up losing a couple there, so they go behind the original line of scrimmage, and now 3rd and 11 coming up.
This defense is just flat getting after it. They have not given up much of anything in the run game. Case in point right there.
Third down now. Those last two plays indicative of how things have gone for them. Just nowhere to go on the ground and struggling to put up points. A throw there, but that's going to wind up incomplete. A misconnection there. He's hit almost 50% of his passes thus far. That's not where you want to be.
Now you see the evolution of the game. You go back to the quarterbacks of old, 50% would be terrific because they threw the ball downfield almost every time they threw it. Now with the short passing game, you should be above 60% just to be in the average range.
The Browns send out their punter now as he'll come on to kick this one away. Averaging 50 yards a boot so far as this one's away. Here's Hill on the return. So a good punt there, but a nice return of 11 yards. And out will come the offense as they take over. There again is the running back as he trots onto the field. He's had a good performance, moved the ball effectively on the ground. Of course, he has the one touchdown.
And when you're able to move it as effectively as you've described, that leads to finding a way into the end zone, and now he's just trying to do it for a second time. And, of course, with that comes additional yardage.
Yeah, looking for additional yardage, and again, that second score here in the third quarter. They'll start this drive out on the ground. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage. No gain on the play there, second down. If this defense wants to stay in this ballgame, they've got to start ending some drives. That helps.
And they have to look ahead at what they expect the offense to do. And right now with that lead, that's run the football. So you don't just stack the line of scrimmage. You have to get upfield and try and make some plays in their backfield.
A quick slant to Hill. It'll be a gain of 5, and it's 3rd and 4 now.
What terrifies defenses when they see slant routes thrown is that the receiver is on the move, and oftentimes he catches it and gets upfield. Does a really nice job rallying to him and stopping him for a minimal gain.
And as they come to the line, they will not be able to get off another play as time has run out on this third quarter. This is the National Football League on EA Sports. Back now in Miami. The Dolphins on third down. They've converted 4 times out of 6. Not bad. This is 3rd and 4. They'll look to throw here. And a completion to Wilson. And he is going to have the Dolphins first down. He needed 5. He got it barely as it will officially go down as a gain of 5 yards.
Would it be safe to say that as precise as routes are supposed to be run in the NFL, maybe they're not quite as precise in college ball?
That's accurate, yeah.
And I think we saw a college route in the NFL there. Just find the soft spot, find the dead zone, and find the first down. And that's what he just did.
They'll run on first down. Green knifes his way forward here, but just 3 yards on the play. Second down.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
91 yards rushing for him now as he has been tremendous all day long.
That's it. That's what you want. Straight ahead positive gain. Just keep that clock ticking.
And it looks like we've got a dime set here defensively. 6 DBs in the game. They'll keep it on the ground. It's Green. And he's going to have a first down as he's brought down at the 44-yard line. That'll go as a pickup of 8. And carries like that, that's how they're going to continue to salt this thing away here, Charles, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, how about that? A new set of downs. Clock continues to move. No better way to close out a game than to tap those mastodons you have up front and say, guys, keep pounding them. Let's keep the ball, keep their offense on the sidelines, and let's close this one out.
So a 1st and 10 upcoming from Browns territory now at the 44-yard line. And now whistles here and a flag down. Looked like someone got going a little earlier. This O-line's been great. They've got the big lead, so give them a pass there, I guess.
Yeah, I would think so, because if we were grading them on their performance in this game, a lot of pluses in their boxes so far.
The false start backs them up 5, 1st and 15. Up the middle they go. It's Green. Tackle made there by Myles Garrett. Now, I'm guessing you'd say this is kind of the key here. Grind out some yardage, work on that clock, see if you can continue to tick it down.
Definitely. You want to bleed things out at this point, right? Continue to possess the football, gain some yardage, and put the onus on the defense. Do they have to use timeouts? What are they going to do to stop you? You're taking charge.
Now a handoff up the middle. It's Green. A minimal gain there on the 8th play of the drive.
They're in a pretty good spot right now with a convincing lead. I think this is where they put on the boxing gloves, start to try and pound them into submission.
And the offensive line, they've controlled this game. I don't see why that trend would change now. They're 2 for 2 on 3rd down conversions on this drive. This one tough. They need 9 yards on 3rd down. And he can only manage to take the football to the 40, and that is well shy of the first down marker. Call it a gain of 3, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Let's give a lot of credit to the offensive line. They've been able to move the ball really well on the ground the entire game, and while that wasn't a huge one, that's okay. They'll take them in short, steady bursts.
And this is off target to the left. Didn't get there anyway. It's no good. And this will remain an 18-point lead. Well, they can probably live with that with this late lead in the fourth quarter. That's one of the few things that's gone wrong.
You're exactly right. This one was well in hand. That kick there was more for cosmetics, you know, to add to their score. Not getting it, that shouldn't harm them at all.
And now Cleveland geared up to take the field. Well, it's been a struggle so far for this offense, Charles. It's not only that they haven't been able to put the points up, but really stringing yards together has been a real issue for them in this one.
I'm so glad you brought up the yardage, because I was thinking to myself, we've seen a lot of NFL games, and we've seen our share of lopsided contests, but in almost all of them, both offenses have put up at least 200 yards in a game, but not in this one. This has been a display of offense that, frankly, I think the two of us have watched from behind our hands, trying to spread our fingers wide enough to actually see the result.
15 yards is the pickup there, and the drive starting very nicely. First down. You cannot write these guys off just yet, not with a quarterback like that under center.
You mean it actually crossed your mind with him running the team that you could actually maybe write this game off?
Not yet.
Not a chance. Not with him. We've seen it too many times.
Meanwhile, the throw here is complete, and they're going to work this down to about the 32-yard line. That's just his second catch of the game. They wanted to keep him silent. They have kept him silent.
Defensive football 101. Don't let the best player on offense beat you. Take him out of the game, and they've done a great job of doing that.
2nd and 4. That pass complete to Moore. And he'll be taken down at about the 22-yard line.
You always worry about those smaller receivers running through that gnarly patch of land in the middle of the field. But he did a really nice job there holding on to the football and protected himself as best he could while completing the play.
2 minutes left to play in this football game here on EA Sports. So the Browns in possession of the football here as we get you reset. They've got a 1st and 10 as they search for a late score. Now a throw here going to be taken in by the tight end Njoku. And they're going to get this down to about the 17-yard line here.
They gave up the completion there, but this is what zone defenses count on. Catching the ball and not much run after the catch.
Now you've got to hustle your guys to the line and get them set. They'll look to throw again. And that's going to be caught for a Browns touchdown. Donovan Peoples-Jones from 17 yards out. And the Browns are finally into the end zone here in this 4th quarter. Extra point by York is up and good. And it makes the score 21-10. So that drive spanned 5 plays. And it ends with a touchdown for Cleveland. So 2 scores down. Time definitely not an ally, but here comes the onside kick. And the Dolphins are going to recover. They knew they needed a miracle. They had to have that onside kick. They didn't get it.
Well, as we knew, even before they put the toe to the leather on that one, their chances of getting that done, slim and none. And I do believe we saw Slim just leave the door, didn't we?
We did indeed. I think we're down to none. Miami's offense set and ready to go. Now they are really in the driver's seat here, enjoying this lead late in the 4th quarter. The defense does have all 3 timeouts, but at this point, doesn't look like it's going to matter much. On 1st down, Green. And he'll manage to pick up about 4. It's 2nd down. Now the Browns will use the first of their 3 timeouts as they'll talk things over prior to this upcoming 2nd down play. They'll keep it on the ground. Green. Now a 2nd timeout called for by the defense as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. On 3rd and short, they'll try and pick it up through the air. Green's got it over the middle. And he is going to have the Dolphins 1st down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion. Victory very likely now for the Dolphins as they take a knee here. down to a knee one more time, and that should just about do it.
Listen, anytime you take a knee to end a game, that means you've won it. So it doesn't matter whether it's home or on the road, but there's something a little extra special about doing it in front of your home crowd, isn't there?
And the home crowd applauding. They're happy with what they've seen. Chalk this one up in the left-hand column for a win.
Yeah, that's right. Head to the locker room, throw the wristbands in the crowd for the kids, your gloves, your towels. Get to share it with the home team.
But, Charles, a very simple mission anytime that you play on your home turf, and that is to defend your home turf. And today, that mission was accomplished.
Look, every offseason, every preseason, the head coach goes in front of the team and says, the mission for the season, defend our home field every time, split on the road, and we'll be in the playoffs. That's why defending the home field is vital.